Talking about home Wi-Fi, getting it faster, connecting more devices to it and making it overall better. I thought we'd have a chat about what D-Link is doing in this space. Graeme Reardon is the Managing Director of D-Link for Australia and New Zealand. He's joining us because they've got a really cool new product. Help is at hand if you've got bad Wi-Fi at home. G'day, Graeme.
G'day, Charlie. How you going, mate? Thanks for having me on.
Good to have a chat. It's always good to have a chat about new products that you're bringing out, but also just generally the status of Wi-Fi, where it's up to at the moment for homes across the planet, because we just keep on connecting more devices to our Wi-Fi networks, don't we?
Certainly do. I've got 4 or 5 kids at home, as you know, and a wife, and many devices online at all times. And if there's ever a problem, you know what it's like, right?
Yours is the one house where slow network performance is just not allowed. You've got this Eagle Pro mesh, and I wanted to talk to you about that. We've been testing it out. The 3 satellite kit. It's fast, and I found it easy to set up as well. Is it more important to be easy to set up or more important to be fast?
I think it's a combination, honestly. Networking is still complex, right? People, as soon as you say the word Wi-Fi at home or internet at home, people start getting cold sweats, and because in the past that has been very difficult. And so we certainly have worked for many years now to try and make it easier. And now it's very simple with an app. You can still go through the old method via the web GUI.
Yep.
An app is the way to go, and it makes it super simple.
Yeah, it does. I tried to shortcut the setup even further by plugging it in at an Airbnb that I was staying at, straight into the really slow, pretty much useless router that was provided by the Airbnb provider. And then your system and their system had a bit of a fight, but even though they had a fight, there was literally a 1/4 second drop every 6 hours or something. But in that instance, it's fixed by bridging, but I didn't do that, right? And are you finding that you need to educate people about bridging and just setting it up correctly the first time, especially with NBN customers?
To a degree, some service providers, I won't name names, but some of them have some difficulty in giving out certain passwords for your VoIP service, and so therefore you're locked into their device. And so therefore you need to connect a new device, which gives you usually better Wi-Fi and better coverage, into one of the LAN ports.
Yeah.
Normally we'd recommend putting the modem from the NBN or from the service provider into bridge mode, and that way you're really getting rid of that device and just using it as the connection into the NBN. Depends on what type of NBN connection you have, whether you need to do that, but there is sometimes a bit of education, but generally it's plug it into the existing modem or directly into the NBN connection.
And it works well. AI optimization. Now, I saw this on the box and I thought, the robots are coming, but it's not that, is it? It's just a better way of managing your Wi-Fi. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's managing, it's optimizing, it's monitoring, it's giving you parental controls, all with AI in the background, monitoring your service. As you just said before, different devices come onto your network when you come home, and that could put more stress on the network. And so we want to offload some older devices like printers into the 2.4 gig. I won't go too detailed, but into the old spectrum, and keep the media players or the smart TVs in the 5 gigahertz, which is the faster spectrum, as long as there's enough distance between them. And so it's really just doing that all automatically in the background to give the customer the best experience.
Because that has been one of the things, hasn't it, that people aren't correctly connecting the higher bandwidth devices to that 5 gigahertz band if they can, and then they have a poorer experience, and then they complain about the TV isn't working right, the phone isn't working right, the router's not working right. But in this case, I guess you're trying to address all that.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, we then give you what we call AI reporting, or the AI assistant. So every week you can get a little report, straight to the app. You can send it via email to yourself if you want as well, just showing you what's happened during the week. And that's really, I guess, taking the lid off the network so that you as a customer can look in and go, okay, I've seen these devices come on the network. I've seen this. This is an interesting area. I'll look at this. How much bandwidth have I used this week? What devices are using the most bandwidth? But rather than going into the web interface and trying to find all that and potentially scaring yourself, here's a little email, here's a little app to say, here's the things that are using, most of the bandwidth on the network, whether it's the smart TV, whether it's one of the kids playing, Xbox or one of the games that they've got, then you've got some visibility and can then work towards that.
You do also allow prioritization of different devices. So, for example, you're working from home and you want your laptop prioritized, correct?
Yep, absolutely. And even to a parental control level, you can prioritize certain devices under each child. So, if, my eldest son also is online upstairs doing work, he can be prioritized for all of his devices or just an individual device across the whole network. So you've got that flexibility.
I do also like that you've got the 2 satellites or the 3 satellites, but how do you decide which one to get? I mean, is there, because at the end of the day, if you over invest, that's fine, but under investing, maybe not so good.
Yep, exactly. I think there's 2 reasons or 2 ways to do that. The very first way, dlink.com.au. If you click into our connectivity in our mesh section, there's a little workflow. It sort of it asks you a couple of questions, right? It shows you what size house you've got. And you click on the buttons and it says, here's the recommendation for you. So that's step 1, very simple. Step 2 is, even if you do, and this is the beauty of mesh, right? Especially with Eagle Pro AI, because our whole Eagle Pro portfolio, which is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 products, I think it is, 9 products, actually all work together. So even if you have let's say you do even have a 2-pack mesh system, an AX3200, the new one we've just released, and even after that, which is a pretty powerful system, you still find one room right at the back of the house has a dead spot. You can buy one of our mesh range extenders. And normally we wouldn't talk about range extenders because it isn't the best solution. But when you've already got a 2-pack and you can mesh a range extender to that existing mesh system, all covered by the app, then actually that's a pretty good way to go. So we always recommend up-speccing because you're going to keep getting more devices, right? You're not going to suddenly stay static with your 30 devices. In the next 2 or 3 years, you're probably going to have 50 or 60.
Some good advice there. D-Link's Eagle Pro AI AX3200. You can get it in the 2 satellites or the 3 satellites. Some very good parental controls on that one as well. I had some fun with that when my mates came around and wanted to borrow my Wi-Fi too, Graeme. That probably wasn't so nice to them. But the products are available now. Details, dlink.com.au. Graeme, great to have a chat. Thanks for coming on.
Likewise. Good to see you, Charlie. Thanks, mate.